Greetings and good evening. Welcome to the Roundtable, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is Tuesday, November the 11th, 2025. Bonsoir, comment ça va? I'm Drew, and I'm one of the two fabulous co-hosts of the best live sports talk show all across the internet in 2025 and beyond. Welcome to week 10 and week 11 of both the NFL and the NCAA, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a very good time talking about these games tonight based off of what happened last night and throughout the weekend. But first, we must do what we're supposed to do, which is to properly introduce everybody that's going to be part of the conversation. First, let me go ahead and give a quick shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us on our three streaming platforms: Facebook Live, TikTok Live, and YouTube Live. This is a Veterans Day show episode of the Roundtable, being that both myself and my brother Griff are proud veterans of the United States Army, both serving over 30 plus years in the Army. At the same time, where our paths crossed many times, which has led to an everlasting bond and covenant between himself and I, as part of the reason for this journey called the Roundtable. Brother Griff, man, great Veterans Day that we had the opportunity to just chillax in. What did you do on your side of the house for Veterans Day, my guy?
Man, hey, I did what I always do. I got up this morning, got on the Peloton, rode the bike, then I did me a little workout. Went to got me some golf classes. I did not partake in none of the free Veterans Day stuff, man. I try to avoid those things like the plague. I let the veterans that need it the most get a hold to it, man, and just prepare for the night show, man. I just want to say big shout out to all of the veterans that's watching and those that will be watching later, man. Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. From one veteran to another. Thank you for the service, not only of yourself, thank you for the service of your family during the time that you spent that time defending your nation in whatever capacity and in whatever service that you served. Whether it was just a short period of time or you dedicated your entire professional career to service. You are a public servant. You are a servant leader. And for many of the people who are our regular supporters in the Roundtable family, who are also veterans, have served, currently serving, or associated with the United States Armed Forces in some capacity. So thank you all for your service and continued dedicated service to this nation. Now, Griff, my brother, let us get into week 10 of the National Football League, bro. We had some great football this weekend. We had some games that we knew were going to come down to a last minute drive. And then we had some games that left us scratching our head like, is that team really a team that you're going to think and trust in January, or they pretending to be a real contender? We're going to cover all of those games. Let us begin in the game of the weekend, the game that everybody was looking for, the game in the frozen tundra, Lambeau Field. You had the defending Super Bowl champion coming into town, looking to reestablish their imprint as a legitimate run team in 2025, as everybody likes to say, going against a Green Bay Packers team that was trying to recapture that early season fire, that early season buzz in a must-win game. Quiet be, told, for the Packers at home. They could not afford to take an L. Philly can, because of the division that they're in and the shape of the division. But Green Bay is not only fighting for the division title, but they're fighting for their playoff life, because all 40 teams in this division are going to be there in the end. And every win is going to matter. Now, we both picked Philly to win this game. This was a good defensive struggle for both sides. Are you disappointed in Jordan Love and the Green Bay offense? Once again, this question is asked about both of these quarterbacks about both of these offenses, it just so happens to be that Jordan Love is not able to get the job done in the big time games like we want him to be able to deliver if they are going to be a Super Bowl team.
Look, man, what I noticed last night, he's definitely missing Kraft. Kraft was his guy. And I mean, what I seen from the other receivers, I just didn't see. But this is what I will say on both sides. You said it was a defensive game. For people that don't like defensive games, this probably one of the game they really like because both sides was putting the pressure on both quarterbacks. If
Mhm.
you look at the numbers, man, I mean, like you said, the Eagles is a passing team. I didn't see that last night because there was a lot of pressure on them too. They just know how to win. Jalen and that squad know how to win when they need to win and the defense on both teams kept it close. Jordan Love, though, it's just something about him, man. Like you say, he's not that guy right now for this squad. They should have stuck. I mean, they should have stuck with running the ball with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs was pretty successful in running the ball against the Eagles last night and took a little pressure off of him. But without Kraft, this just looked like a whole nother offense, man.
Man, that is amazing that you bring that up, right? And we can bring up any kind of argument that we want to say about the Philadelphia Eagles and just say they are in that just win mode. Let it be known that's the Eagles in 2025. Got it. Specifically about the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. And you said without Kraft, that offense seemed hobbled. Let's go back. Recent history. Any quarterback that has had a grade A tight end that led or was part of that team's overall success and eventually led to a Super Bowl title. If Rob Gronkowski went down, did Tom Brady completely fold the tent in and say, okay, the Patriots simply can't get it done? No, he found a way to get it done. If Kelsey went down, did Patrick Mahomes say, let's fold the tent in? No, he found a way to get it done. We're looking for Jordan Love to be that guy. Everybody was looking for Jordan Love to be that guy in 2025, especially after the Michael Parsons trade. His repeated opportunities to deliver big and coming up short for whatever the reason, turnovers, bad weather, the sky was falling. It doesn't matter. He never delivers. Him and Justin Herbert are in the same category as it pertains to being a big time quarterback that can be trusted to lead a team to the Super Bowl. I don't believe that Jordan Love is that guy. You are correct. I don't see the Green Bay Packers being a legitimate Super Bowl contender at this point, halfway through the season, simply because of how they have lost the games they have lost. They lost to the Carolina Panthers, game they should have won at home. They lost to the Cleveland Browns, game they should have won at home. They have zero home field advantage. They lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, toss up game at home. They have zero home field advantage. Where did they put up 40 points against the Cowboys? Was it at home or was it in Dallas?
We bringing up old stuff, man.
No, I'm driving my point home as to Jordan Love is going to disappoint the Cheeseheads,
Yeah,
and they should be taken off of the board as a legitimate favorite to make a deep run into the
they,
playoffs.
they definitely do not look like the squad that we thought they was in the beginning of the season, especially with the acquisition of getting Michael Parsons over there with the defense. I mean, yeah, Mike ain't putting the sacks and stuff like people expect him, but he demands double coverage, and which did free up a lot of other guys. But they are not the team that we thought they were.
Right, right, and you count for Micah getting double team. You count for Micah getting that additional attention, right? But you should, as a defensive coordinator, have a scheme to ensure that we are taking advantage of the additional attention Micah is giving. Got it. Green Bay will eventually figure it out, man. Let us move on.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
they are unworthy of further conversation at this particular time. Now, the actual best game of the weekend was between the 7-2, I believe it was 7-2 uh, New England Patriots going down to Tampa to take on a 6-2 fresh, rehabbed, right off of their bye week, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Surprise, surprise. Green Bay for real this 2025, bro. Mike Vrabel got something going on down there in Foxborough. I was I knew this was going to be a very close game. Even with all of the injuries Tampa Bay has, I figured that home field advantage, the tenacity of the defense, the aggressiveness of Baker Mayfield in that offense, even with Mike Evans being out, Ubika is coming into his own. They still have a solid run game. I was surprised that the Pats had the intestinal fortitude to push through on the road in hostile territory. So, are you surprised as to how good Mike Bravel has the New England Patriots at this point in his rookie year as the Pats head coach?
No, not surprised at all. I already told Jake, hey, Drake May was that missing piece, man. And then I'm glad to see, and you hate to see a player get hurt, and Stevenson got hurt, which gives Henderson more opportunities. But I seen that kid up there when he was at Ohio State, man, and that was a difference maker. And they did some. This is what's scary about the Patriots because they did something against a squad that you don't normally be able to do, and that's run
Mm-hmm.
against Tampa Bay. I mean, Henderson was able to put up over 100, almost 150 yards on the ground, man. That was beautiful. Drake May is playing. The Patriots defense won a bad defense last year. They just didn't have that. I think what Vrabel done is brought back that Belichick mentality that he had when he played there with Coach Belichick, man. But this squad is scary. And this is what's so scary about the Patriots is they've been under the radar screen now, and nobody been talking about the Patriots. Everybody like, oh, we got Drake May, this got this young squad. Nobody paid them no attention. Stephon Diggs looked like a new guy, looked refreshed being up there with the squad. Got a running game, and you got a good defense. But I will say this, and I turn it over to you, Drew. I have to apologize to Baker Mayfield, man. Baker been balling.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I say he's been balling with all the injuries that he's got. He didn't had his squad been in every game this year, even with all the injuries that he had.
No, you're absolutely right. And you said that no one had been really focused in on the Patriots the first half of the season because new coach, new environment, new program, so to speak, right? And Drake May got it his second season, but new system, new offensive coordinator. You did not think they were going to be able to catch fire coming right out of the gate, which is what they have done. Now, the second half of the season, of course, they're going to get all of the attention, but the schedule is the schedule, and they have a schedule that is somewhat
Favorable.
doable, right? To where they can easily win the AFC East with the way Buffalo has faltered. So the New England Patriots are, I'd say, even a year ahead of what Grable thought he would be able to get in a 3-year run. This is year two, the tail end of year two success in my opinion as to how effective they've been able to implement both the offensive scheme and the defensive scheme. Now, we know that McDaniel is not a great head coach, but he's a phenomenal offensive coordinator because he has Super Bowl rings under Bill Belichick to prove it. Yeah, the New England Patriots are going to be a problem for teams in the AFC. People may have to go through Foxborough, if not Indianapolis, maybe Denver, to get to the Super Bowl. We shall see in the weeks to come.
Yeah,
This was a great game. Uh, it would not be out of the realm of possibility if both of these two teams were healthy that you could see them in a Super Bowl. Wouldn't bet on it, but that's how good they both are.
I look at the final games that the Patriots have. They only really honestly got one tough game left, and that's against the Ravens. The rest of it is the Giants that's wounded.
They got to play
We
Buffalo
don't
again.
know which Miami team gonna show up. They got to play Buffalo, but again, I when we get to Buffalo, I'm gonna say what I say. Buffalo can't stop the run, and
They
I have no
sure
faith in that squad right there. That's all
they
I'm
sure
saying.
can.
They can
Well,
keep on talking about it their year.
I mean, statement
That's
game
the Ravens
kept
game is
coming,
a close
man.
game.
Statement games all across the NFL this past weekend. This next one was a huge game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Minnesota Vikings. Baltimore is in must-win mode right now, from now until at least the middle of December. At least the middle of December, they are in must-win every game mode. Going into Minnesota to take on a Minnesota team that came off of a fresh dub against a Detroit team that many believe are Super Bowl contenders, happening in Detroit. Now, fast forward 7 days, we both picked Baltimore to come into Minnesota this week and win this game. And the game kind of went how uh, I expected it to go. I like to get your feedback, and then I want to focus in on play calling again for the Baltimore Ravens on the tail end of our conversation about this game, and how play calling on the offensive side will affect them later on this season. Were you surprised as to how good the defense showed up for the Baltimore Ravens?
Uh, nah. First of all, let me address Karen, and she said we owe her an apology because we wrote her squad off. I'm just McCarthy is not that guy yet. I think I don't want to say that he's bad. The Ravens defense, they're a little healthier now. They got the right players in place or whatever. But I mean, it's easy to win games when people giving you the ball. And they had those three turnovers is probably the difference in this game right here, as far as them winning and losing this daggone game. The Ravens, you're right. They got to keep on winning. They don't have no choice, but it helps them out when like teams like the Steelers lose. It helps them out. It helps them out when teams like the Browns lose. So they actually probably can afford. They looking like the NFC East. I mean the NFC Central. Uh, when the team might come out and joker with a losing record and still make it to the playoffs, like like your conference.
Oh my God. Even when you try to throw shade, you mess that up.
I messed it up bad, man. I've been South, man. NFC South, man. My bad.
And
I
hey,
live, man.
and you know what, Griff?
I'm
You
on
know what?
medication now.
I just knew, call it Negatodamus moment, that you were gonna bring that sly comment up at some point during the show. So I took the liberty of checking the NFC East's record in 2025 and comparing it to the NFC South record in 2025. And guess what? Guess what?
I'm pretty sure you're gonna tell me that y'all better.
Your dad gonna skip it. So let's put that one to bed at least for the next couple of weeks. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, man. Let me address their play calling. My concern for their play calling. If you recall, at the end of the game, last 2 minutes, they went to the TV timeout, the 2 minute warning, with the Baltimore Ravens at a 3rd and 4. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
3rd and 4. And coming out of the timeout, I just knew you either gonna call a play where Lamar Jackson has the opportunity to scramble to the left or scramble to the right in a design run or a pass run option specifically for him, or a pass dump off to a running back or a tight end or a receiver dragging along with him. But no, what did the Baltimore Ravens do? Try to throw a pass right over the middle in the clogged up area. Not only not getting the first down, but killing the clock and giving Minnesota almost 2 minutes to be able to come back and win or at least tie this game, which
I
they
know.
made it interesting, at least for the first minute and change. The play calling for the Baltimore Ravens is so suspect to me that it is going to come back to bite them in the gluteals at some point.
And
Now,
you know,
Karen, you said that we need to apologize. anytime that a team is 1-5, I'm not going to apologize for writing them off. Now you have won 4 straight games or 3 straight games to get to 4-5, and your schedule is looking very favorable. So I got to give the Ravens the kudos that they so rightfully deserve. But like I said, you're in playoff mode. Just win or go home every single weekend from now until the middle of December at a minimum. What's up, Griff?
No, I was just gonna say, we missed that piece in the game from last night because the Eagles should have punted the ball at the end of the game and they didn't.
And
Coaches, I was like, man, this thing gonna come back and bite them, man, and it could have. Uh, when that Joker went for it on fourth, I think it was 4th and 2,
yeah.
and and gave the ball back to them, man, and all they needed was a field goal. That was
Mhm.
crazy. Coaching but that's coaching.
Yeah, and at some point, the tush push is going to come back to bite the Eagles in the butt this year too. When they really needed to work,
And,
they're going to get a false start like they should be getting now because
oh,
one of the linemen either going to go early or something like that.
several of them
And be
last night.
costly.
Several of them it happened last night.
Yeah, all right, man. Let's move on to the next game. That was a big game for another AFC North team. The Pittsburgh Steelers were traveling to La La Land to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. We weren't surprised with the outcome of the game, the W going to the home team, but were you surprised as to how poor the Pittsburgh offense looked on Sunday night?
I, I would say this. They don't and Tommy, please forgive me. I apologize, my brother. Yeah, y'all can't do it all about with just Debo. I mean, yeah, you got your linebacker, but your receivers failed y'all on a few occasions. But also Aaron Rodgers, made some overthrows or whatever. Man, the offense just don't look. Some about that offense just don't look right to me. The defense, they showing up or whatever, but that kid, I think the Chargers got Vidal now. That's the guy that replaced Najee and the other running back that they had. And that kid had a pretty good game against the Steelers, man. So yeah, I was suspecting it to be a little bit closer than what it was. The score does not reflect the game. The Chargers never was in jeopardy of losing this game right here. But
No.
the offensive play calling and just the offense period of the Steelers it looks lackluster to me, man. They don't have no running game. They don't have no passing game other than trying to throw the ball to Metcalf or the tight ends. And the tight end, I need a fair move to catch some passes. Didn't do nothing for me. So it's some bull crap, man.
Yeah, no. Hey, Tommy, Karen says, sit there and eat your porridge, sir. You dished it out. Now you got to be able to receive it. Your Steelers are garbage, according to her. Um, But no, you are definitely on to something. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, when they lose this division, it's not going to be because Baltimore had a second half surge. It is not going to be because Baltimore had a lighter schedule. It is not going to be because Baltimore is healthier. It is going to be because Pittsburgh decided not to do anything before the trade deadline to get a second receiver so that you don't have to rely on DK Metcalf and DK Metcalf alone so that Aaron Rodgers has multiple options available to him that can be trusted to create their own space and don't have to rely on pinpoint precision passing, right? He is a 42-year-old with limited mobility. We know that the rocket arm is still there. So if you, as that receiver that can create your own space, like Shaheed when he went to Seattle, or the receiver that was traded from the Raiders down to the Jags, or any other receiver that was available. The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't do their due diligence to go get Aaron Rodgers a second deep threat.
Jacoby Myers would have been a good add-on to this squad right here,
He
man.
would have been because he's big. He fits in the Pittsburgh style of offense. He could be both effective in the short game, medium game, and in the blocking game, and within the round. So they did it to themselves when it eventually happens, as long as LJA stays healthy, himself and King Henry. Baltimore should be all right despite their terrible play calling until later on in the season. Now, the next one was the Rams traveling to San Francisco to take on a San Francisco team that is held together by Band-Aid and Bengay, but they seem to find a way to win every single week. And this was going to be a tall order for them because the Rams, even though the records are similar, are a better team, in my opinion, your opinion, most of the people who follow football, their opinion, simply because they are clicking on offense, right? They put up this stat this past weekend with Matthew Stafford throwing for 20 touchdowns and zero interceptions in the past 3-4 games, where the
Mm.
Rams are on this hot win streak. And that was even before Puka Nacua came back. The Rams look real good, man. Are they your Super Bowl favorite right now, or you still waiting on the jury to come back with their verdict?
Nah, I like them, man, but I still think Seattle gonna probably be the team that come out of this division right now. That's just me. This conference right here, I think the two. I want to see these two go ahead, in which they gonna have to run into each other. But I think Seattle's defense and the way Sam Darnold is playing up there is gonna be that the tipping point as far as these two teams. But these are two top teams, and if not in the NFC, definitely in the NFC West, man. Them two, they both run on all cylinders. Like you said, Puga came in, and it's amazing how good that kid is, man. As well as the running game, man. That was the other piece with this one. As far as the 49ers, how you say, no, I say bow freeze and band-aids, bro. Bow freeze and band-aids. But big shout out to Mac Jones, man. Even though he got hurt or whatever, the kid still put up almost 300, put up over 300 yards passing, man. So and against this defense, and I think that's the difference right there because he won't be able to do that with Seattle.
Yeah. We'll find out about Seattle and the Rams because they play this weekend against each other. We'll talk about that game a little later on tonight. But how good the Rams look as they do on offense is scary,
It
at
is.
least for me, for every other team in the National Football Conference, because they can go point for point with Detroit. Their defense is slightly better than Detroit. They can go point for point, definitely, with Philadelphia. Their defense is on par with Philadelphia, even though they lost that wacky game at the end of that game early on in the season with that block kick. The thing is going to be whether or not their defense can go pound for pound or punch for punch with the Seattle defense and be able to slow down how effective the McDonald offense is. And we'll find out this weekend. But I am thoroughly impressed with the Los Angeles Rams at this point in the season. And I would list them as one of the top two teams, not only in their division, but definitely in the NFC, if not the NFL, because of how they are winning and against who they are winning. San Francisco, I got it, they're patched up because of injuries to key positions, but they are still a winning team. Mac Jones is doing something right.
Man, Mac is beefing up his daggone his portfolio,
Oh
brother.
yeah. He gonna be a starting quarterback somewhere next year, making
Troy
about
made
40,
Troy Troy
45
bring
million
up a
dollars a
good
year.
Troy bring up a good point. Hey, Karen, you and Tommy, y'all be nice.
They're getting at each other.
Remember, y'all both veterans. Y'all both veterans in this veterans league.
hey, 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 it runs deeper between the Ravens and the Steelers, bro. It runs deeper.
Oh, look, Fred said he glad to see the Niners lose.
Well, I mean, the Niners are going to eventually fizzle out, to be honest, right? They're
Yeah,
not a legitimate threat to go deep into the playoffs.
the
They
injuries gonna be
may be good enough to be on the fringe of the wild card, but simply because of the injury bug that has continued to attack that team, they're
there.
not good enough to make a deep run. That is just an honest assessment. Now, these next set of games are games that are playing wild card football right now. They are either win or we can pack it up and pack it in because our season is just about done. The
Hmm.
first one was the Houston Texans welcoming in the Jaguars. Division rivals, both of them thought they were going to be competitors to win the division this year, but Both are now actually playing for their wild card life. You did not have any confidence in that team from H Town. To be honest, neither did I.
Well,
Because of the injury to CJ Stroud and the backup and the limited offensive weapons that were available to them. Defense number one got it, but you didn't. Nobody predicted 26 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to come back from back yonder to come and snatch
bro, you
that
down
dub away from the Jaguars. They gave that game away. Or did Houston come back and get this dub?
you down by 19. You down by 19 points going into the fourth quarter.
Hey,
I take
hey,
that any day.
Mike said they about to have a parade down Main Street.
Hey, not so fast, my friend. You get too far ahead of yourself, Mike. Look. I know that's your squad, man, but that defense, I'm gonna tell you, man. Will Anderson Jr. and Rankin, them boys, yeah, they turned it up a notch in that fourth quarter, man, and that's what really won this game for the squad. But them Joker was down 19 points going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, man.
And I done told you, man, my faith in your boy in
Trevor
Lawrence.
Lawrence, Goldilocks.
Sunshine just ain't that dude.
Yeah,
He
man.
just passed. He done had too many. He been in the league long enough now. It ain't no excuse nobody can give. All the heat they give my boy Dak, and which Fred said Jordan Love is the Dak of Wisconsin. Uh, why Lawrence don't get this same heat? Lawrence don't get this same heat, man. He was supposed to be the guy to come in the league and turn it up, man. This is no way this team's supposed. And they lost. You see, they lost. They lost Hunter for the rest of the season. He had to have season injury surgery on his knee.
Uh-huh. So is it Trevor Lawrence fault they gave up 26 points in the fourth quarter?
Man, look, Trevor
I'm just
Lawrence.
asking. I'm just asking.
I'm just telling you, them turnovers. He had them turnovers in the end. If he couldn't sustain some drives, that look, 4 for 11 on third down.
Yeah.
He was okay when they was winning. When they was up by 19, nobody had no. Hey, if he can get all the glory when they up by 19,
Oh, he can definitely get all
head.
the smoke when they're getting that L. Yeah, no doubt. And you are correct. He has underperformed, underdelivered thus far in his National Football League career. But we cannot have these super high expectations and think that every number one quarterback coming out of college is going to meet them or exceed them. That is only once in a generation, usually. We've had it recently with the success of Joe Burrow. We've had it recently with the success last year with Jaden Daniels being the number 2 pick. And Drake May looking good this year as the number 3 pick from last year. Trevor Lawrence, it was a hit or miss. The situation has to kind of be in their favor, right? Things have to kind of line up for them. Now, granted, he's had receivers. They've underperformed as a team, but they've had up and down years. It's he's
Go ahead, dude. You might as well be his lawyer, man. You, hey, I will say this though, Drew. I will say I was very shocked. The reason why we didn't pick the Texans in this game more so was not so much about Jacksonville, but the lack of offense, especially now with CJ Stroud not playing. The offense looked even better without CJ, just at least in that fourth quarter. I mean, they had a running game. They had over 100 yards rushing as well as almost 400 yards passing. Oh, well, up went down. They had over 400 yards passing. That offense ain't looked like that all season.
I got it. I mean, we can ask all of the what ifs, and I got it, Troy. If it was Mahomes would ensure that his offense would have broken that cycle. You're having a little bit of Mahomes trauma yourself. I don't see that. When it's happening to you in real time, you're like, how can this be happening? But it's happening. Just like the Giants gave up 33 to the Denver Broncos a few weeks ago, and here come the Jaguars talking about can I follow suit like we playing spades or something.
Hey, Fred asked the question. Fred asked the question, man. Fred asked the question. How long is a generation? Is that every year?
No, a generation is not every year. Come on, man. A generation in the NFL is at least 10 years. At
Yeah.
least. But we've had a couple of hits in the past several years, right? How many generational talented quarterbacks have there been in the 21st century drafted?
Mm.
You can count them on maybe one or two hands. So, but next game.
The scariest team in the league to me.
Yeah, you called it on Friday night that the Cardinals can pack it up and pack it in. Their season was basically done because of how good the Seattle Seahawks are.
Man, them jokers only
Before you
35.
even went and grabbed your chips and sat down good, it was already 28.
35.
35.
Look, man. Hey, I thought Marvin Harrison Jr. had arrived. That's what they said when he played against the Cowboys. You notice that every team looks good against the Cowboys, and then the following week they drop off.
That's because they overexert themselves against the Cowboys, bro. Y'all be pulling all the energy out of these teams. That's how good y'all are.
Oh
So they
man.
earned that dub against y'all, and then because as y'all said, y'all are everybody's Super Bowl. Anyways,
Yeah,
the Seattle Seahawks, man.
this
You said
offense.
that they are probably the best team in the National Football Conference for you. What makes you confident that that offense can travel into any cold weather stadium and win? We know the defense can travel. Can the
Mm,
offense consistently travel into another cold weather
man,
team, or say, let's go, Philly and get a dub?
I think they can. I mean, believe the Seattle that's an outdoor team. They don't have a dome and they play. It get cold up in the Seattle area. Trust me, and snow and all the other stuff too. I've been stationed there. Not as cold as Green Bay or whatever, but I think they do, and I think their defense is what's going to make it a difference when they get to those cold weather places. They got a good running game. That daggone Smith and Jigger, man. Them, you talk about LSU being receiver, but I don't know, man. And I ain't afraid to say it. Daggone Ohio State to put out some guys out here in recent years that's killing the game. Alabama have too, but these Ohio State boys been killing the game. You got Olave, you got daggone Smith and Jigger, you got Buka down in what you call it. Wilson, man. These guys been Wilson ain't been doing, but the rest of these guys been getting it in here lately, man. This defense is scary. DeMarcus Lawrence, I need you to come back to Dallas. Lord
He ain't
knows.
coming back.
D-Law had two touchdowns, man. Returned two touchdowns this weekend, man. And the defense is scary, man. That's all I can tell you. So I think that's the best team in the NFC right now. The way they playing.
Yeah, that defense definitely has a mixture of the Baltimore Raven mentality, which where McDonald comes from, and the Legion of Boom tenacity and aggressiveness. They attack the ball each and every play, and that is going to be the difference maker if they have to travel. That offense is good enough to go pound for pound. That defense will be the difference maker as long as they can stay healthy. And the Seattle Seahawks are, ooh, at the end of the show, Griff, I'll ask you who's your mid-season Super Bowl favorite, and they're right there in the mix for me.
Mhm.
So we'll see. But close the door on the Cardinals' season. Their season is done, and you can officially do the same for the Atlanta Falcons because they found a way to do what they do, baby. They find a way to get a game away in the fourth quarter, as Griff called them. Griff
Three
said they're
quarters,
the best
baby.
three-quarter team in the National Football League. You surprised, Griff?
Nope, I ride with
He
these
said,
jokers for three
"Nope."
quarters, baby. I know the Falcons gonna give you three hard quarters, baby.
He said, "I'm good for three,
They,
three to
they gonna
five."
give you three. They gonna give you three hard quarters. Then they gonna figure out, man. When I say Jonathan Taylor, man, wow, brother.
MVP, baby.
Hey, we've been talking. We've
MVP.
been talking about Danny Dimes, man. But I'm gonna tell you that daggone the performance that brother put on this weekend, man. People that ain't never played running back don't understand. Just to get 100 yards is a tremendous feat. But
Mm.
You talking about 2+,
with 3 touchdowns,
bruh?
3 times this season. Yeah, man.
You know they're gonna give it to a quarterback though, but he should be, man. Unfortunately, it's gonna go to a quarterback. But the way he been playing, it's rare that they give it to a running back.
It is rare. It hasn't happened since Adrian Peterson did it some years back. But if he eclipses the single season rushing record, he most definitely will get it because no quarterback will, well, maybe Matthew Stafford, if he continues on the track that he's going, because he's on track for 47, 48 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So if that were to happen, where he's somewhere close to 50 touchdowns, obviously over 40 or 4,000 or 4,500 yards, and leads his team to a division title in the best division in football, then yeah, Matthew Stafford would deserve it. If Drake May was to do the exact same thing on the opposite side, I would say no, simply because the NFC West is better than the AFC East. But it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to see how the Colts continue to play and whether or not they're going to continue to focus on the run game and try to keep him healthy for the back half of the season and the playoffs, or allow Daniel Jones to kind of continue to open up the offense.
Take what the
So,
defense give you, man. I mean,
uh,
run the ball. If you can run the ball, that's high percentage. But you take what the defense give you. And this defense, I mean, again, 200+ yards this weekend.
I mean, I look for Jonathan Taylor to continue to have success, averaging 120 to 130 a game as long as they focus on the run game. But I think the offense is good enough, especially with their schedule in the second half of the season, will give them the opportunity to keep him fresh while still getting those chunk yards as he has become accustomed to getting in 2025. So looking forward to see what the coach got
It's
going
just
forward.
unfortunate, man. The Falcons got a good defense, man. I mean, they sacked him 7 times, brother. It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
they play calling sucks.
Yeah, and we can officially close the door on the season for the 2025 Washington Commanders as they got folded up at home by the Detroit Lions. Not We didn't expect a different result. This was not unexpected. Did the Lions bounce back for you in the 44 points they put up against a Washington Commanders team that's beleaguered, injured, and hobbled, to kind of reinstill the confidence that you once had in the 3-1-3 and Dan Campbell's approach, now that he is now both the head coach and the offensive coordinator?
I mean, it was the Commanders. I'm just I'm keeping it real, brother. It was the Commanders.
He
I
said
was glad.
it was them people, huh?
I was glad to see that Jameer Gibbs was back in because him and Montgomery got shut down last week, man.
Mhm.
And for them the two-headed monster to get they swerve back on, I love seeing them cats, man. And but it's the Commanders. JD, like I said, Jordan, Jalen is not there.
Yeah,
It's the Commanders.
I got you. All right, so Fred is no longer with them Sirs, or is Fred still down with we them Sirs, or has
No,
he?
no, no. Trust and believe. He ain't with them. If they losing, Fred ain't finna lose no energy on that squad.
Okay, so I guess I can hold on to that. No, that jersey you wasn't gonna ever get. All right, man. So the Commander season is done. We can move on from them as a playoff hopeful and focus on other teams, both in the NFC North and the NFC West, because that is where the focus is going to be in the second half of the season. NFC North, the Bears continue to amaze, ladies and gentlemen. That is 5 out of 6. That is 5 out of 6 from the Bears in November. Football. They are 6-3 and 1 game out of the division title race. The Bears are for real, or have they just come across a string of lucky wins, Griff? I got it. Some of them are against teams with losing records, but this is a rookie head coach who you know is in great offensive mind. Caleb Williams seems to be coming to life or coming into focus or becoming more stable, capturing the offense. They have playmakers on the outside. Are you confident that the Bears could actually make a little bit of noise in the NFC when it
No,
comes to football?
I don't. I mean, looking at the rest of the remaining schedule, they got some tough. They got some tough squads ahead. Again, Green Bay twice. Matter of fact, they got Green Bay 2 weeks in a row. Well, not 2 weeks in a row, but they got Green Bay twice. They still got San Francisco, and they still got Detroit and the Eagles. It's
Mm.
it's a tough. It's a tough road for them. I see it's a tough road for them. Oh, the difference making this game was Jackson Dart got hurt. I mean, I hate to say it like it is, but I feel bad for Russ because I can hear the New York fans booing the minute that he was out there. But I also say that was one of the reasons why David was gone. They run that kid too much, man. I mean, and it was bound to happen eventually. And so he went out with a concussion. But I don't see the Bears making it as far as you think they should make it because of what they got left to play.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about the New York Football Giants and the predicament that they find themselves. We talked about this on Friday night, and it specifically targeted not overusing Jackson Dart, even though he brings a lot of success to the offense, especially that Scatterboo is out for the year, especially that um, you've lost your number one receiver for the year to ACL. So Dart is the only other playmaker that you can legitimately use both his legs and his arm to create plays. And he is a young, aggressive quarterback. And you just knew that it was bound to happen. You didn't know it was going to happen in the very first game after we talked about it. And it didn't look like it was a violent play. It didn't look like, it would have taken him out, but it put him in a concussion protocol. Now the flag has been raised, and it led to the firing, or it confirmed the firing of Coach Dabo. It wasn't because of this game. It wasn't because of Jackson Dart's injury. It was because you gave up the lead for the third or fourth time this season in the fourth quarter again.
Yeah, man.
So you did it to yourself as a head coach. So it is what it is. I don't feel.
Dart went out. Dart is the offense. Dart was the offense, and when he went out the game, unfortunately, I mean, they didn't do much of anything else after that. And Troy said Dabo and already he already got his Thanksgiving plans ahead. He ahead of the game on his Thanksgiving plans. So Troy, you cold blooded.
Now, Dart is the offense. Dart is the.
He is the offense. I mean, again, he led the team in rushing. He throwing the ball. It's almost like that commercial with Travis Hunter at the Heisman House playing goldfish against himself. You know what I'm saying? Because although, I mean, Slayton and all these years Slayton been in the league, man, I ain't really never, but he had a pretty good game in this one. But as far as and I'm trying to figure out, nobody got Jameis Winston doing it before the trade deadline. He's still sitting over on that sideline, right? If I don't understand it, man. I'm just trying to figure this out.
I would go with James before I would go with.
Russ, I would definitely go with him before Russ.
Yeah, but
I
you know,
understand.
it is what it is. The G-men will figure it out. Whoever the interim head coach is, he could be making that decision. Now, huh, these were games that we kind of thought were kind of easy to pick, but every single one of these games that I thought the home team was either going to win or lose, they flipped the script. This was shock it up Sunday. The Bills go into Miami and lay a dud. My Saints couldn't spell W all year, went into Carolina and kind of shocked the Carolina Panthers a little bit. And the Jets found a way to win against a Cleveland team that should have been able to win that game. You surprised about which one of these and why?
I, First of all, I call this the battle of the number one picks crew right here. This all these jokers, all these jokers, this is the battle. The one I was most surprised of, honestly, of all these games, the one I was most surprised of was the daggone Buffalo Bills in Miami. Shocked the hell out of me. I already told you that Buffalo can't stop the run, but the way Miami offense been playing this year, the way Tua been playing, you know that's my guy. I just didn't think that they was gonna do what they did to the Buffalo Bills. Uh, you know, the Jets is not a bad squad, man. Just the offense. Well, let me stop lying because their offense is neither one in that game right there. Go look at the numbers that both of those teams. That was horrific.
He said that was horrific.
It was, man. Just look at the offensive numbers between both teams. No, those numbers weren't even put up. I don't even think. I don't think that Justin Field even had 50 yards passing in this game. That's just how bad this game was, bro. The Panthers and the Saints. I don't know what they missed. They messing with y'all first round pick, bro. I don't
I
know what.
know, man. They need to. Hey, I am happy for Tyler Shuck that he was able to get his first win as a rookie quarterback, first since Wade Wilson, I believe, in 1981. But we need to slow the reins, coach. What you
Should
doing, bro?
have well stuck with Spencer the rest of the season, baby.
Like what? No, Spencer Rattler needed to go, bro. You got to give. Hey, I'm all about giving the rookie a shot. So let
Yeah.
Tyler Shuck see what he can do.
Yeah, but like, answering your question, Drew, the Miami Buffalo game was the most surprising one to me.
So does this keep you from keep? Does this detract from the belief that you have on the Buffalo Bills, or was this a bad game? Just hey, this was that dud game, or was this a bad sign, as they love to say on some sports talk?
Turnovers, man. I mean, you could be the best team in the world, but if you just giving the ball away like they did, it happens, man. And we done seen teams. We seen who was that earlier this year had a game. I mean, in fact, Sam Donald had a game like that just a week ago. So it happened. I don't see them doing that again. But I mean, fumbling the ball, Josh Allen throwing interceptions. Yeah, that shocked the hell out of me.
Well, with an unreliable offense and a defense that
Cannot
can't
stop the
stop
run.
a nosebleed, as you would love to say, the Buffalo Bills are not a serious contender for me. And obviously, the rest of these teams are all hot garbage as well. So that was a
Oh,
wrap up of Week 10. Some
Troy
great
said,
games,
Troy said, Troy
shockers.
asked, well, Troy asked how does Stefanski still have a job, man? I mean, again, he got some on the ownership.
How does both head coaches in the state of Ohio still have a job? I do not know.
That's a good question.
Neither one of them deserve to be a head coach in the National Football League based off of how their teams have performed coming out of each season and going into each season because each team has such high hopes at the beginning of each season. They have the talent on the team. They simply can't spell W
Hey,
at
man,
all.
I
Not
got a
even
question. This is a question I always want to ask, and I know we got to move forward. It's something about the Bengals, man. Y'all who that, and they who they. It's almost like McDonald's and McDowell's, man, from Coming to America, man. I think it's some copyright infringement going on over here, man. That's all I'm saying.
well, funny story. You know, there have been documentaries on the Who Dat versus Who They uh, tradition, how it originated, which is older, which is more popular, and which fan base thinks that the other is biting off of the other. The
Mm.
reality of the fact is who they, the Cincinnati Bengals call sign or chant, DEY, is older than who dat
What?
by like 2 or 3 years. I believe the Who Day chant was created in the early 80s, maybe 81, 82, and the Who Dat chant was created in 84 or 85. Now, we all know that the Who Dat New Orleans Saints chant is world renowned. It is the most popular, the most accepted, and the most understood. So when you hear anybody say who that, we automatically know we're talking about the Florida League. When you say who they say what? You have to go ahead and break it down and say, hey, that is the Cincinnati Bengals chant.
You
We're
just
the Bengals.
educated me, bro. You just
So
educated me, Drew. You just educated
yeah, who they is older than who that. But
me.
the who that nation has adopted it, have welcome it into the culture, and it is ours for eternity. So who they can move on. Now, speaking of moving on into week 11. This is the Thursday night game. I thought it was the Jets and the Broncos. Is it the Jets and the Patriots?
No, it's a Thursday night game.
Okay. This should not be a competitive game. This should be a scrimmage game for the Pats. You said a few minutes ago that the Jets offense does have potential at times, even though they didn't show it in this last game against the Browns. They usually play division rivals tough. Do the Jets have a shot, or is this going to be an easy game for Grable and
Like how when you had a segment about upset, this would be if it was to be an upset this week. This would be the upset of the week if the Jets win this game. I just don't see it, and it's because of the pressure that Justin Fields is going to receive in this game right here. Now, the only success they have if they'll be able to run the ball with Brees Hall the way they did this past week, that'll get them and maybe get a few turnovers here and there. But I just don't see the Jets not the way the Patriots is playing right now.
I understand. I agree as well. This game should be a game where the Patriots cruise to an easy dub. We both talked about doing some homework from high school on Thursday night that we forgot that we didn't turn in 30 years ago. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that instead of watching this game. I'll catch the highlights on Friday in the morning. That's how.
Then you wake up on Friday morning and they be talking about it was the best game all year.
If it is, I will definitely go to YouTube and check out the highlights. But I believe we both can agree that the Patriots should win this game rather easily. Now, this was make it or break it Saturday, at least for me in college football, where my team went into Tuscaloosa to take on an Alabama Crimson Tide team that is on the glide path, as we like to say in the United States Army, to land a secure playoff spot in the college football playoffs, and obviously hopes of getting a national title this year and the first for Coach DeBoer since joining the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, LSU went into this game on the heels of firing their head coach, firing their AD, replacing the president of the university, and having wholesale changes here over the past couple of weeks since interim head coach Frank Wilson has been named. The atmosphere at Tiger Stadium and in Baton Rouge has been uplifted, where we thought we had our swagger back, where we could go into a hostile environment such as Brian Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa and not only play well enough to be competitive, not only play well enough to have the opportunity to compete for a dub late in the fourth quarter, but to be good enough, to be confident enough, to feel that you have the requisite weapons to do just that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, we did not do that. Four primary reasons why the LSU Tigers, at least in my opinion, and I'm gonna talk about Alabama before I turn it over to you, Griff, just for like a quick hot minute,
Okay.
just throw just a little bit of shade at y'all at the end. But the four primary reasons that LSU performed piss poor, in my opinion, was quarterback play, receivers not catching the ball when the ball was thrown at you, around you, near you, hitting you in your hands. The offensive line completely taking the night off. And play calling from the offensive coordinator or the interim offensive coordinator. There were parts of this game where Garrett Nussmeier, who had efficiency-wise a very good game, 18 for 21, but he only threw for 100 yards. His average pass was traveling 3 to 5 yards. We cannot dink and dunk our way to victory, sir. This is a hot team we're playing against. A very good team we're playing against. Quarterback play, both from Nussmeyer, and Van Buren when he came into the game, neither one of them wanted to be aggressive. I don't know whether or not it was on them, which I believe it was, because that is part of the reason Nussmeyer was benched because of his lack of aggressiveness, not taking chances, not throwing the ball past 15 yards. But your season is over. Alabama was beatable on Saturday night, but LSU did not show up. Alabama did not show me that they are the best team in the country. They still have work to do, but they are definitely one of the top four teams in the country. And you can kind of hang your hat and say, okay, this was just a tough SEC victory, blah, 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 blah. But Alabama got work to do, Griff. You proud of how y'all snuck away with this dub?
Well, first of all, Drew, thank you for all the kind words that you just said about my squad, as well as identifying the holes within your defense. I would say this: one, you can't force the ball down the field. You said the offensive line was asleep because the defense. This is the best I've seen Alabama defense play all year, and I watch all these games. On
Mm-hmm.
the offensive side of the ball, we do have some problems. We can't run the ball, man. We cannot
Yeah.
run the ball at all. And like I know, when it gets down to the postseason, that's gonna be the deal breaker right there.
Fred is roll tide too. Not
Hey,
the, not the bass now.
hey, Fred for a while, honestly, before Fred started getting all these teams, Fred was a Cowboy and an Alabama guy. And then somewhere he had an epiphany, and he just said he refused to lose.
Fred said, "I seen the light."
He's seen the light, and now it's just all about teams that win. But
Oh,
I really like the way the defense played that game. Probably one of the not better games of Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson missed quite a few open receivers, wide open receivers. But we got to figure out something. And me personally, I mean, I like Jam Miller, but Jam Miller has not ran the ball the exact same way he did last year, this year. And we got a kid over there that's 240 plus pounds that's pretty good, Hill, that I would like to see get more touches and touching the ball. I just was for me the defense played, man, exceptional, and they're gonna need to play like that again this week because we got another game against Oklahoma. I would tell you I like the quarterback that y'all had coming in.
and
The kid actually is pretty good, and I'm glad he waited to the end of the third, almost the third quarter, fourth quarter to bring him in because it probably could have been a difference in this game. Your receivers failed you. That boy put the ball in some people's
yeah,
hands wide open
yeah,
that could definitely, that killed some drives as well as a couple of passes he threw that when nobody in front of him received. Them could have easily been touchdowns. So
yeah.
I'm gonna take the win. You got to have wins like this. But yeah, we got to tighten our shot group up.
Yeah, I mean, this was a huge mountain to climb, right? I talked about all of the controversy that LSU has endured over the past several weeks, the entire season, and expecting an interim head coach, no matter how good of an interim head coach that you may be, how ingrained in the culture that you're from the culture, so you are of LSU, but you're going into the home stadium of the fourth ranked team in the country, and you're expected to not only represent your team well and not get embarrassed, but you are expected to win because of the fan base's expectations. We don't care about all of that stuff. We care about you going into Tuscaloosa Saturday night and coming out with a dub. Don't nobody care about all of the off the field stuff that is going on. You're the head guy now. There are expectations. So, coach, let's get it together. Now, man, you talk about some big games this upcoming weekend in college football. And we're going to spend a lot of time on that on Friday night because you talked about Oklahoma being on the docket next for Alabama. Texas having to go to Georgia this weekend to take on the University of Georgia. Texas A&M having another big game fresh after that big dub in Mizzou this weekend. We see the current college football playoffs released earlier tonight on ESPN, where you don't see any movement from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First movement is at 6, where Texas had a jump from 9 to 6 after that huge win this weekend against BYU, where they dismantled the then 7th ranked undefeated BYU team. I don't know if you had an opportunity to catch that game, but how impressed are you with Texas Tech and where they are now based off of where they sit in the Big 12, right? They got that one L, right? That was early in the season. But how good they look now. Would you put them above, like we have in the ranking, Ole Miss, when Ole Miss, like, why we get dropped down because we played a high school team this weekend? You impressed with Texas Tech?
Again, first of all, I told you on Friday. What I tell you, they're gonna go out there, them daggone tortillas gonna be everywhere. They was losing that game, man. I told you that. I told you that. I
Uh-huh.
I hate to say this, man. I can't take Big 12 teams seriously. This is this week's. Trust and believe. After this week, Ole Miss will be right back there on top. I just don't. The level of competition in the Big 12 does not impress me. Indiana should have definitely lost this weekend. They got a toe tapper, and the level of the Big Ten. I seen somebody say Ohio State ain't impressed them yet, but Texas Tech is there just because Ole Miss didn't play this week. That's it. That's on the and they beat a team that was in in the top 10. But Big 12 don't impress me.
No, I get you. I get you. Now, we'll talk more about the big games this weekend on the college level on Friday night.
Mhm.
But big games in the NFL this weekend that I want to kind of touch on tonight and then recap or finalize our discussion on Friday before making our selections this weekend. We got like 3 or 4 huge games, right? The Sunday night football game between the Lions and the Eagles. That is not even the best game of the weekend to me, but that is going to be a huge game in determining where we are as it pertains to seeding when it comes to playoff time. What are you looking for from the Philadelphia Eagle defense to stop that dual-headed monster that you love to refer to as the Detroit Lion run game to ensure that Philadelphia's defense is the difference maker in this game and not Jared Goff's arm with those receivers?
I think they're gonna have Jericho. I mean, again, you we talked about this a little earlier about it's the 3-1-3 back. This is a 3-1-3 game for me to prove that hey, we didn't figure this thing out. Uh, I think the Eagles defense is not the defense that the Lions played this past weekend. I think that they won't allow them to run that ball as much, but I mean I still see them doing it. But I see a lot of pressure on Jared Goff, and he gonna have to get that ball out of his hand quick. So that's gonna be the difference making in this game right here. This is why for the Eagles can take a loss in this game. It don't hurt them as far as playoffs and stuff like that. But the Lions need this game more than the Eagles. And, so I believe the Eagles is gonna try to play a game where they controlling the ball, keeping that offense off the field as much as possible and when the offense is out there on the field, it's putting that pressure on Jared Goff. But we shall see.
Yeah, the Eagles do need this game if they want to be considered to be the number one overall seed because they are competing with the Seattle Seahawks for the number one seed. They are competing with the Los Angeles Rams for the number one seed. They are competing with the Detroit Lions for the number one seed. They can take an L in the division race, but they need this game if they want to be the number one overall seed. And we know Detroit needs this game just to remain competitive in their division because everybody else in their division is trying to win as well. So this is going to be an extremely exciting game. And Jared Goff and his ability to operate under pressure is going to be a difference maker in this game. But I'm looking for whether or not Philadelphia tries to play ball control and keep Jared Goff in that 3-1-3 offense off the field so that you don't have to worry about the dual-headed monster and the multiple receivers available for the Detroit Lions and the aggressiveness of Dan Campbell. Will Philly Nick Soriano play ball control where we're focused on the run game, trying to establish Saquon and throwing dink and dunk passes to AJ, Devontae, and or Dallas Goedert, and utilize the legs of Jalen Hurts? Is that the game plan that Philadelphia is going to use to win this game on Sunday night? We shall talk more about it on Friday night. Another big game this weekend is the Chiefs traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. Now, the Chiefs, they got an uphill struggle ahead of them. Not only are they susceptible to lose the division, but they are susceptible to missing the playoffs altogether. They have a tough schedule ahead of them. Denver is sitting pretty at the top of the division at 8-2. I think Kansas City is like what, 5-4. So Denver or Kansas City cannot afford to take another L. They're going into Denver. Sean Payton is really, really, really focused on this particular game as a separator for his team and not only the rest of the division, but the rest of the AFC to ensure that they maintain that number one overall seed in the AFC, not in Foxborough. What does Kansas City have to do to not only be competitive in this game, but to give themselves a chance legitimately in the fourth quarter to win this game? Or do you think that Denver is starting to come into form at this point?
Denver, we both know Denver got a good defense, man. But the offense still, for me, is still not there yet. I think Kansas City has to limit their turnovers, and Kansas City got a good defense, and I think they're gonna give Bo Nix a run for his money. But the Chiefs need this game. They going in there with an attitude. They need this game much more than Denver does, and I think this is gonna be a good game.
I don't know, Mike. I don't know if the Chiefs win. And Denver is one of the best teams as it pertains to getting to the quarterback. Now, Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback that has escapability capabilities, but they get after him. And he is not the most stable quarterback either when it comes down to pressure. Yeah, him and his security blanket Kelsey have that succinct relationship, but they can create turnovers themselves. So look for the Denver Broncos to focus on creating turnovers to make sure that they are looking to have that separation going into the second half. Looking forward to that game. But to me, the game of the weekend, Griff, and I cannot wait to see this game when it happens, is the battle for the NFC West, the battle for
These These top two teams in the East, they're in the West to me. I mean,
yes,
in the NFL.
NFC.
In the NFC, these are the two top teams for me.
So what are you looking for from Lala's offense to be able to go up against Seattle's defense in Seattle? No, they're in Los Angeles. They're in Los Angeles
I
at
think
home to be able to give the Rams a shot. And with Matthew Stafford being on such a tear lately, right? 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the past 3 or 4 games. Can that continue? Or do you think Seattle has to create a turnover to give Seattle a shot at this game?
I think Seattle will create some turnovers. They going that'll be the key to this game. I think LA is as much as Stafford is playing and with Puka and Devontae Adams and getting them the ball and stuff like that. I think they want to keep that Seattle Seahawks offense off the field just as much as the Seattle Seahawks want to keep the Rams offense off the field. I think this is going to be a defensive battle between these two teams because both defenses is playing good. We talk about the offenses, but both defenses are playing good too. I don't think this game is going to be a high score in this game as we might think. I think it's going to come down to a turnover that's created by one of these defenses.
You're right. Both of these defenses are playing very well. And a lot of focus has been given to the offense, especially for the Los Angeles Rams. But I got a question for you and for the roundtable audience. Nobody has faith in Sam Darnold. We think in the back of our minds that the Jets Sam Darnold is going to come to surface at some point, and not the Minnesota Vikings Sam Darnold that won 14 games last year. Sam Darnold has led the most efficient offense in the National Football League in 2025. Sam Darnold has led the most efficient offense in the National Football League in 2025. And we still do not have faith in Sam Darnold. That changes this weekend in Los Angeles. Now, whether or not they win the game, it depends on whether or not the Seattle defense can create those turnovers that Griff talked about. But Sam Darnold shall show up. Sam Darnold shall put up big numbers because we see the top receiver in the National Football League that Griff talked about earlier is right there on that team, receiving the ball from Sam Darnold. So y'all stop having no faith in Sam I Am. Sam I Am shall be in La La this weekend putting up big numbers. He said Geno Smith has returned. No. Well, yeah, no, you're right. The Jets Geno Smith has returned.
Hey man, Sam Donald said they wrote him off, but he didn't write back.
This is Sam Darnold's year to not answer the email. Send it to junk. All right, man. Great show tonight. Again, happy Veterans Day to all those who have donned the cloth of America's fighting forces at some point in your adult life. May you continue to live your best life. Any parting shots for the roundtable audience, Griff, before we depart on
As
this?
always, thank you all for hanging around and entertaining me and Drew. Again, man, y'all made my Veterans Day. This is the best way to close the Veterans Day out on the round table with veterans in the chat, chopping each other up, but still loving each other on the same. This is where the love of football came from for many of us, because this football is what got us through many of the deployments and schools and stuff like that. Our teams and stuff like that. That's all we did. I know when we was downrange, that's all we did was talk football. So, man, what we got over there? Who is Troy?
Fred talking about you're welcome for his service.
That's my guy, man. I love me some Fred Showbiz, man. But that's all I got, Drew, man. I just want everybody to have a great week, and I can't wait to see everybody back here on Friday.
Yes, sir. I love the chat, man. Love the conversation in the chat, especially from passionate fans such as Karen going at Tommy. Karen, you got Tommy on your slate. 2 games yet on the slate. So you get to really drive home the point as long as y'all can win. So don't let the terrible towels come back at you. Great show. Great weekend of football. I took a personal L. This was that Super Bowl weekend for me in college football. It did not work out for me. See y'all again next year. This time it'll be in Baton Rouge. I don't know who the coach is going to be, but we're going to be under new management. We're going to have a new focus and looking forward to that game first Saturday in November of 2026. All right, so we most likely will be broadcasting live from Tiger Stadium. Speak it into existence. All right, so y'all have a great week. We shall be back here on Friday night, as Griff mentioned earlier, to talk about the big games, both on the collegiate level and on the National Football League level this weekend, as we transition into real late fall football, where inclement weather is going to now be a factor in how games are game planned for, executed, and how they are most likely going to finish out. So looking forward to that cold weather football. There's nothing like it. Y'all have a great week. Y'all have a safe week. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for your family. And if given the opportunity, please do something nice for someone that you may not even know, because it just might be the best thing that happens to them on that particular day. Y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be breezy.